A lot of teams think they have CI/CD because they have a dev branch, a staging branch, and a prod branch. They do not. If every environment rebuilds the app, the thing you tested in dev is not the thing running in prod. That is not promotion. That is drift with better branding. And the reason this pattern survives is simple. It feels safe. Merge to dev, test it there. Merge to staging, test it there. Merge to prod, ship it there. It looks controlled, it looks mature. But what you actually promoted was source code, and every stage quietly created a new artifact. That distinction is the whole argument. Source promotion means you move code between branches and rebuild in each environment. Artifact promotion means you build once from one commit, create one immutable output, and deploy that exact output everywhere. One model gives you evidence, the other gives you ceremony and crossed fingers. If you rebuild for prod, you're not shipping the thing that passed in dev. Even with the same commit SHA, the build can move underneath you. Base images change, dependency mirrors change, build timestamps change, runner state changes. The source may match, but the artifact identity does not, and production only cares about artifact identity. So after any successful staging test, the first question should not be, did it pass? The question should be past what exactly? What image digest? What binary checksum? What workflow run? What provenance trail? If your team cannot answer that in a few seconds, your release process is weaker than it looks. Here's the clean model. A pull request lands on main. CI runs tests once. It builds one container image, tags it with the commit SHA, pushes it to the registry, records the digest, and stores the build metadata. That exact digest goes to dev. Later, with approvals, that same digest goes to staging, then that same digest goes to prod. Notice what changes and what does not. The artifact does not change, the environment does. Secrets, variables, Helm values, feature flags, and infrastructure targets can all differ by environment, but they get injected at deploy time. If you have to rebuild just to change an environment setting, your packaging model is already wrong. This is also how you make deployments auditable. Open dev, staging, and prod and prove they are all running the same digest, same commits, same build. Different deployment times, sure. Different approval history, fine. Different software, absolutely not. Real deployment confidence comes from identity, not from branch names. Now compare that to the branch per environment flow. Merge into dev, build once. Merge into staging, build again. Merge into prod, build again. Same release intent, same human story. 3 different artifacts, and the exact stage where you wanted maximum confidence is the stage where you silently change the software again. This is why branch per environment falls apart the moment the system gets real. Add more services and branch coordination becomes release tax. Add more environments and rebuild counts explode. Add hotfixes and divergence gets worse. Add compliance and audit trails get harder. It kind of works at small scale because almost everything works at small scale. There is one nuance worth keeping. Your application repo and your GitOps repo are not the same argument. In a GitOps setup, you may have environment overlays, separate deployment manifests, or even environment-specific branches in the config repo. Fine, but the application artifact should still be built once. The GitOps layer should promote an image tag or digest, not trigger a brand new build for every environment. The migration path is not dramatic. Keep feature branches and pull requests. Stop using long-lived environment branches for application release flow. Build on merge to main tag artifacts by commit SHA. Deploy by digest. Move environment differences into proper config. Put approvals on deployments instead of encoding approvals as merge choreography. Rollback gets cleaner too. In the branch per environment world, rollback often means another merge, another rebuild, and another chance to drift. In an artifact promotion model, rollback means redeploy the previous known good digest that is faster, safer, and much easier to reason about when production is already on fire. So no branch per environment is not maturity, it is release anxiety encoded in Git. Real CI/CD is simpler than most teams make it. Build once, prove what you built, promote the same artifact. If you cannot prove that production is running the exact thing that passed below it, stop calling the pipeline trustworthy. Audit your own system with one question. Can you prove that the exact artifact in production is the same one that passed in lower environments? If the answer is no, fix that before you optimize anything else. Because now you're not arguing about process style, you're arguing about whether your deployment story is even true. And if you want the practical cleanup list, it is boring in the best possible way. Kill the long-lived release branches, build on merge to main, tag the artifact with the commit SHA, promote by digest, put environment differences in config, not in fresh builds. That also fixes rollback under stress. The bad version is merge something backward, rebuild again, and pray the rebuild behaves. The good version is point prod back to the last known good digest, one command, same artifact, lower risk, smaller blast radius. So the real verdict is not branch discipline versus artifact discipline. It is theater versus evidence. If your branch model forces a rebuild before prod, the pipeline is giving you a comforting story, not a trustworthy release. Use this as the audit before your next deploy. Open the registry, open the pipeline run, open the production workload. If those identities do not match exactly, you did not promote software, you promoted hope.